businesses, why should they be doing? What do they have to benefit and gain from a podcast?
Well, at the end of the day, you have you have an expertise, right? Like you have this amazing like business in here. That's why I'm looking around. I keep looking around like, oh my God, CJ is doing it. Okay. But like you already have the expertise. So all this is a value add to your business, right? So now you have this expertise and knowledge. You know everything about media, not even just like photography, video, like you know everything about media, right? So now you have this platform where you're able to have this value add to your customers, right? So and you also are more of an expert, right? So if I'm looking around on the internet and I'm like, oh, I'm looking for a videographer, in Charlotte, right? And I'm looking at Joe Smo over here, and then I see CJ come up and he has his podcast where he has his authority, right? Podcasting gives you an authority to say, I know something about this subject, right? I'm a subject matter expert in this area. And so I'm going to give you free information on it. Mm-hmm. So now I've created this connection with you unknowingly because now I'm watching your content. I'm seeing what you're saying. I'm watching how you move. I'm seeing how you interact with people, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm probably going to go with you over Joe Smo because now I've unknowingly created this connection with you based on the things that I've seen. It's just a value add, right? Because like somebody can come to you and say, oh my God, like I watched your podcast. I really loved when, you talked about this and that made me want to reach out to you. Yeah. Right? So it's just another value add to your service. You already know what you're doing. You have a business, right? You're selling services, selling courses, whatever it is. So why not have that value add, share those services, create that relationship, and then people are going to buy from people who they trust, not just people who they just see on the street.
Or on Instagram.
Or on Instagram.
So do you think it's necessary 2022? Like most businesses, service-based businesses, especially, should consider at least something?
I think they should consider it. Yeah. I think you should consider it. But again, I think you just have to be very clear on what your messaging is. Yeah. Like you can't just go out there and just be, throwing it to the wall and hoping it sticks, right? Mm-hmm. Like just be very clear on your messaging and like understanding who your audience is and talking directly to that audience. Yeah,
absolutely. So and me putting together because like I said, I'm pushing video podcasts in my marketing to other businesses. And I say, you have a video podcast, obviously you got video, but you're not doing the heavy lifting. That's what a podcast, you're not doing the heavy lifting. Your guest is. Like, you're setting them up to answer the questions for your audience. What are guests? Mm-hmm. What are good guests to have on a podcast? Like if you're pushing it for a business, who should you have on the podcast?
You should have, I would definitely say like clients, because they're going to give you testimonials, right? You're going to talk to them about their experience, with you. So like someone who's real, who's gone through it. Like, again, if I'm watching online and I'm watching somebody say, oh my God, I had a really amazing experience with CJ. He, went above and beyond. He was on time. He was this and that. And it's like, okay, these are things that I'm looking for, right? Definitely that. People who you work with. So again, people are creating that connection. So, if you have a team, right, have your team on there. Let's talk about, the daily processes and things that we do. So people are understanding when they come to you, oh, I'm going to be dealing with Lauren who does, customer service, or I'm going to be dealing with Sarah who does, HR, whatever it is, right? Like, so your team, like that's a good one. And then again, anyone in the field who could, I guess, I don't want to say validate, but kind of emphasize your message.
So when you say that, I think, maybe somebody within the industry, but a different niche.
Correct.
Within the industry that can kind of bolster what you're saying. At least principles line up with what you're talking about. So you may not service the same audience, but the same principle.
Right. So, and even collaborations, right? Because I think, what did they talk about? Collaboration over competition, right? Like I have an interview tomorrow, like I was telling you, with someone else who has a great podcast, right? And we're collaborating. It's not a competition. Like she has a different audience. I have a different audience. And now maybe something she said can resonate with my audience and something I could say can resonate with hers, right? We're talking about the same thing. Like our mission is the same. We want to help people heal in their grief. Whether we talk about it a different way or not is irrelevant, right? At the end of the day, what matters is our mission is the same. And so we're able to collaborate with that. And I wanted to emphasize that because I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to bring on somebody else because I don't want them to take my customers. Your customers are your customers. Right. They're not going to go somewhere else unless you're doing bad business.
Right. Now you got to push them away.
Right. You know what I mean? Like that's a different conversation. But definitely, I really, really believe in collaboration over competition. And that's really important with podcasting because you can do cross promotion as well, which I know we might talk about too.
Talk about it.